There we go. So I'll go ahead and get started. If people want to come in later, we'll go ahead and proceed now. So thank you everybody for joining us. My name is Isaac, Sales and Marketing Assistant here at TechShare. Thanks for joining us. Today, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Avocado 1.50. So on our agenda, it's probably the usual you can expect from me if you've been to one of these before. I'm going to start talking about some new features and changes included in 1.50. After that, we'll spend some time talking about bug fixes included in this build. Our development team put a great focus on bug fixes this time around, so we're looking forward to diving in there. And at the end of our meeting, myself and Matthew, we're going to talk about what's next from our team here, um, and we'll go from there. So let's dive in here. I'm going to review our implementation process for those that may be joining us for the first time. We're going to start rolling 1.50 into your sandboxes. At that point, you'll have plenty of time to test these features out with your team, give us feedback, and so forth. And upon your approval, we will go ahead and get it into your production environment. And I do want to take this time to ask that you guys save all your questions, should you have any, and send those questions to either your account manager or your implementation manager. This will be a relatively higher level review. So if you do have specific questions about specific features or anything else, your account manager will be more than happy to dive in deeper than I will today. So with that said, I'm going to hop in and talk about our features. There are 7 new features included in Avocado 1.50. So I think I'll just start here at the top, and we'll talk about discounts based on contact age. So with this feature, we've added a new ability to adjustments, and this is the automatic option. This adjustment will be applied to any order where the discount rules apply. And we've added the ability for adjustments to apply to contacts based on an age range with this. And this feature is specific to that automatic availability. And here's a demonstration of what it looks like in Salesforce. Here's our dropdown of the different options, and you can go ahead and select automatic there. So let's say you maybe want to implement automatic adjustments for senior discounts or children's discounts. You can go ahead and implement it through this new feature. Next, let's talk about some new changes for our childcare waitlist process. We've made adjustments to make that a closer match to our HFA process. So for instance registrations for divisions with the registration type of quick registration, so childcare, we now give warnings based on reaching the instance capacity limits. And with that, there's a visual warning that will display when you're trying to book a client for an instance that's at max capacity. And the ultimate goal of this feature is to prioritize clients that are already on the wait list. So here's an example looking into childcare registration. It's very tiny, but that is an orange exclamation point that will show where appropriate. And let's say we are trying to book this client for an instance that's at max capacity. We will get this warning. And again, the goal there is to prioritize those clients already on the wait list, so we're not skipping ahead and booking this client that may have came in person. We'll make sure that wait list is handled accordingly. So next feature on our list, continuous membership rollovers. We've added a rollover schedule option to the package object. So when a membership rolls over into a new package, the rollover schedule option field, that's what will be used for the new rollover order. And again, here we are in Salesforce looking at our annual membership just as one example. And here are our different rollover schedule options. Next are some changes to facility access passes. So this is a feature you may already be familiar with, so we recently implemented it, but we changed where to find it. We've moved the Cantaloupe door access and the door entry buffer minutes fields from the booking to the facility. And what this is going to allow is this door access adjustment to be adjustable by facility instead of by individual bookings. So here's my gym. This is a test facility we have, and there's that option. And again, that's configurable by facility, so you don't have to adjust by each individual booking you get. You can set that by facility, and of course, you do still have the same option for individual bookings should you need it. Next, we made some changes to the user interface for account history. We've updated the account history section. I'm sure you're all familiar looking in the Avocado menu and diving into accounts. The scheduled date column right here, that's been renamed payment due date. And when you expand an individual item on this list, the scheduled date column has been renamed to payment date, and an amount outstanding column has been added. So here's just an example of a $50 purchase. Payment due date is there. Amount outstanding in this particular case is 0, but you will see any outstanding balances there when you dive in. And next is a checkout warning. So we've added a warning to the order refund page, and you'll get this warning just as a reminder not to navigate off the page before the refund has been completed. So as your front end users are handling those refunds, we'll see this just as a reminder to stay on the page until that completes. I think this is my last one. We've added upgrade and downgrade membership options through the Avocado portal. And again, we've added that ability to make either upgrades or downgrades to memberships through the portal. So your members can hop in on the portal on their mobile or on their laptop, wherever they are. And the membership packages available for this process are controlled and configurable, pardon me, through the membership dependency object. And this is just an example of what your clients are going to see when they hop in on the portal. This is all configurable based on your own needs, your own array of membership options, but I'm logged in and I can make upgrades from there. So that's our list of features. I got a big list of bug fixes to cover with you guys. There's 12 major bug fixes included in 1.50. And I'll just give you a review of these. And again, if you do have any questions about these, I'll be the first to tell you I'm not the tech expert. I will ask that you save those questions for our support team or your account manager, and they'll be happy to dig in with you. So, number one on our list, some fixes for class list prompt responses. We fixed an issue where prompt responses were not listed in the same order as the prompt group. And we also fixed an issue where prompt responses ordinal fields, those weren't being populated properly. That's been resolved. Next, some issues with account exceptions were resolved. We fixed an issue where making a payment on a PSI linked to an unresolved account exception. Those were incorrectly continuing to block registrations on the portal. That's been fixed as of 1.50. Some membership renewal issues were fixed. We fixed an issue where manual membership renewals and transfers, those weren't correctly assigning the members to the new or transferred membership. And there was also an error message that was incorrectly stating that that all assigned members are not eligible for the new membership. Those have both been resolved. Next here, there's a bug involving a double collection on orders. We fixed an issue where eCard, it was retrying decline transactions, pardon me, and that was causing a double payment and it wasn't being allocated properly as an account credit. There was some issues with memberships that have been resolved here. We fixed an issue where contacts belonging to a membership where its member is true, they couldn't also be assigned to a membership where member is false. And some more fixes involving memberships here. We fixed an issue where draft membership orders with a contact assigned to the membership were blocking the ability for the contact to be assigned to a new membership. And we've updated this process such that creating a new membership will unassign the contact from any other memberships linked to draft orders. And some instance export bugs fixes are included here. We fixed an issue where looking at the programs and camps, exporting there, it was excluding results if the program name field didn't match exactly with your search. And we also fixed an issue where the category filter, it wasn't working correctly when exporting instances. And some issues with the calendar and childcare. Looking at the childcare menu, um, there was a display issue where the day before an instance as well as the day after an instance wasn't displaying properly. Those dates are now displaying as they should be. And we also fixed an issue where instance registration for divisions with registration quick reg, it would allow a registrant to be waitlisted in the same instance multiple times, and that's been resolved. And some refund display issues have been resolved in 1.50 here. Fixed display issue on receipts where refunded items were being included on the original receipt, and the amount refunded as well was displaying on the original receipt. Um, and with this fix, refunds have their own receipt, and that's where this information is being displayed properly now as a 1.50. And I think this is the last one on my list. Some item 10037 here, new status for the punch pass in portal. We fixed a display issue where even a canceled punch pass was still displaying the number of uses remaining through the portal. It is displaying properly in Avocado menu 2, of course, and that's been resolved in the portal. So that's all for bug fixes. Let's talk about what's coming next from us here, and we'll start by talking about what's in development. And just a reminder here that our development happens in stages. And with our new release schedule coming, we're putting a greater focus on our QA duration. And Matthew's going to touch on that a little bit more as we move forward. And but first, I'm going to take a look at some of our release plans for 2022 and a couple features we're excited to share with you moving forward. So um, in upcoming builds, there's going to be new features in regards to facility bookings. That includes some improvements for the user interface, the calendar view, as well as note functionality. And we're also working on duplicate management improvements for facility management in upcoming builds. We're working on third-party payment reconciliation improvements as well for upcoming Avocado builds here. And several different Engage app improvements we're excited to get to you, including new features and UI improvements as well. And with every build, as as bugs are reported, bug fixes come shortly after. I think that's the end of my list. So Matthew, I'm going to give Matthew the floor, and we're going to talk about our spring release schedule and our release schedule into the year. So Matthew, take it away when you're ready.
Excellent. So as you know, version 1.50 is our last monthly build. We'll be going to quarterly or seasonal releases in the year 2022. So 150, even though it's happening this year, was kind of a leftover from the cycles from 2021. So with our new release schedule, again, once a quarter, the first release is going to come out at the end of the first quarter, and we're calling it our spring release. And essentially, we've set a series of dates that we're committing to you to have that release ready for you. The first date we're going to meet is about 2 weeks before it's put into your sandbox on every quarter or every release. You're going to see the release notes being released. So at this point, it's going to be for the first quarter, spring release schedule. It's going to be March 21st. We will provide you with the release notes. The week after that, we will be presenting, as Isaac's doing right now, and walking you through those release notes. And then the following week, we'll have it ready to be installed into your sandbox. So essentially, there's a 3-week cycle. where we get it into your sandbox. You will still have to request it being put into your sandbox. We're not just going to update your sandbox in case you're doing other things. And then at a minimum, we are going to ask that all production launches and releases don't happen until 1 week after the sandbox launch, for planning purposes, for making sure that we have the proper resources and we're able to actually support you in your production launch. Every production launch will happen 1 week after the availability of that release into your sandbox. So that cycle takes us about 4 weeks to release and will happen every quarter. If we can go to the next slide now, Isaac. And what we're committing to for 2022 is 4 releases, as we've discussed, 1 per quarter. We're going to have our spring release that essentially is available to you on April 11th. We're going to have our summer release, which is going to be available on July 11th, and the same cycle will be followed, where we'll give you the release notes 2 weeks before, we'll give you the presentation a week before, and then the sandbox environment will be available to you. We have the fall release launch, which will happen October 10th. And then on January 2nd, the winter release will be available. So that is what we've been talking about for a while. And as Isaac's mentioned, that's going to allow us some room in between in order to increase our QA duration and make sure that what we do provide you is going to be of better quality. Thank you. Appreciate everyone joining us, and I hope everyone has a good day. If you have questions, again, please feel free to contact your account manager, and we'll make sure we get those answered for you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.